to the Next Level Podcast.
Go Felix.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Level Podcast. And today is no longer the Felix Show. It is now the DeLuca Show.
The
Yes,
DeLucanator.
taking over. I've hijacked this show. Everybody put your hands up.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
This is going to be a lot more fun, guys. So what we got going today,
What do we
normally they're grilling me. Today,
Grilling.
Grilled cheese sandwich.
these guys are corny.
Clean
Hey,
the
so
grill with an onion.
what we're doing today is we're going to ask the fellas what they think the real estate horizon has in store for us in 2025.
25, baby.
Crap, started 2025.
Yeah.
So we're going to get their gurus,
That had just turned 2024.
Mr. Acquisitions
Yeah.
himself, Bailey Arviso, and Felix,
Yeah, baby.
number one dispo man in Yuma County.
Snaps.
That's how we do it.
We're going to find out what sellers are saying. Please stop.
All right, that's enough claps. Bro.
We're going to find out what sellers are saying, kind of what the acquisition department's hearing about. And then what we're going to hear from Felix is what investors are doing, what they're prepping for, and kind of what the horizon looks like
Oh, they're
there in
doomsday
2025. So
That's right.
let's start with Bailey.
Let's do it.
Bailey, what do you think is going to happen in 2025? Do you think it's going to be a flat year? You think it's be an up year, a down year? Same. Are we rerunning 2024?
I don't think we'll be rerunning 2024. 2023 and majority of 2024, in my opinion, were pretty similar with the market. There are a little bit ups, a little bit of downs, but pretty similar. 2025, I would hope and predict that the rates would drop a little bit so that there'd be a little more movement in people buying and selling and things like that. Selling, I don't think will change. Everybody needs a place to live, so that real estate's constant. But I'm hopeful that the rates will drop. There'll be more movement.
So with that said, I mean the rates. Okay, people hear the rates go up, they go down. How does that affect your department? Your like what you do on a day-to-day basis? Does that really make a difference if the rates go up or down for the people that you're working with, the sellers?
It does on the seller side because there's a good amount of conversations the past couple of years. Like, yeah, I do want to sell, but it's like, what am I going to buy? And my rate's like 3 point something right now. So if I sell, I'm going to have to buy something with a rate in the 6s or the 7s. It doesn't make sense for me to sell right now.
Okay. So, but I mean, like on the distress side, like motivated side.
No, because typically it's not always a situation where it's all, hey, money. Like that typically that type of seller is a little less motivated. They're just kind of thinking about it. But a lot of sellers that we help are people who maybe inherited a home or are behind on payments, or a house that needs a lot of work that they don't have the money or the time or the resources for. So on the distress side, it really doesn't have that much of an effect.
So, okay, so it doesn't affect motivated sellers, distress, those who inherit a property. They're going to sell anyways, right?
Yep, they're going to sell anyways.
So that's probably a Felix question then, like 2025, rates go up or down. Bailey says they're going down. How's that going to affect your side of the business?
Ooh, okay. So interest rates, Brad. When the interest rates go down, now this is what I heard. When an interest rate goes down a full percentage, 1 million people are introduced into your local market.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Okay, so that's more buyers. So what happens with my investors, it's pretty simple. What they do is they buy more so that when the interest rates drop, there's going to be a lot more clientele for that property. There's going to be more people that can actually purchase the home that are way more comfortable with the payment. So what's going to happen when the interest rates go down with investors, with my buyers? They're going to be happy because now they're going to be able to sell their properties a lot faster. As we all know, days on market have been something that's been kind of crazy this past 2 years because of those interest rates. So there should hopefully be an improvement on those days on market.
Yeah, that's good. I'm seeing the same thing too. You're talking to investors every single day. They're buying. Are they buying more right now, or are they kind of laying back to see what 2025 is going to offer? Or how are you helping them? Are you prepping them?
Absolutely.
What's your insight on that?
The majority of my investors, they're much older than me. So they're very wise. They've already been through this before in certain types of situations. So they kind of already know what to expect based out of their experience and what they've gone through. And they tell me some of it as well. And also the data shows. They're trying to buy as much as they can right now.
So let me ask you a question. What does the data show? I mean, do you provide them the data? How do they get that data?
So it's very awesome. We spend a lot of time collecting this data and then compiling it and then trying to work through it and figure out how to organize the data to show us what we need to see. So we go ahead and look at the whole entire market of 2023. Then we looked at the whole entire market of 2024, and we were able to compare both of them, apples to apples, how the market was doing between the two. I believe the average sell price last year in 2023 was 260 or 270. Right now, the average price as of up to date is $293,000 average home sale price.
And that's in Yuma?
That's here in Yuma County.
Okay. So you're probably seeing this similar around the country to Yuma County. All right. So taking that into consideration, are you seeing like investors then, are they like gathering more properties? Because things they're working on today, right? If they bought today and say it takes them, 60, 90 days to get ready, property ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they looking forward to next year and stacking some chips?
Yeah, those that have the cash to buy and not have to worry about holding costs, that's what they're doing right now. They're purchasing as much inventory as they can, and especially right now because as we all know, in November and December, things slow down dramatically. It's like things go on pause. So people are trying to accumulate as many properties right now, or not people, cash buyers are trying to accumulate as many properties as they can right now so that when the new year hits, they're ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that too on my side. I'm seeing investors, they're optimistic for 2025. We just had a big thing last Tuesday. And so, and you see it in the stock market, there's some momentum that's kind of entered into the market. Whether that goes flat or whether that can be sustained, we're yet to see. But I've been talking with a lot of people, and we've been seeing days on market too, Felix, slow down because I'm on the retail side. I'm listing these properties for the investors, and what we're seeing is we're taking a little longer for that property to sell, and that has to do like Bailey was saying, interest rates. Some are waiting for the interest rates to come down, so they haven't made the leap to buy that next house. So. And I think a lot has to do with price range. There's so many factors when somebody says, how's the market? Or, hey, Felix, what do you think? For a certain buyer or a certain seller in a certain price range, those are going to be all like factors into the market. A lot of flips are maybe something that's like a starter home. We don't do a lot of luxury flips. We don't see that in Yuma. So,
not as much, no.
Yes. Yeah, I want to talk about the bell curve real quick.
Okay, tell us about it.
There's a bell curve. And basically, the bell curve is a compilation of all the data. And the bell curve goes low, and then it's a little bell. And then at the top, it meets. And the most occurring data sets are in the middle. The data points are in the middle. And then as you go out, we have outliers. So the less probability, right? That's what it is. So they're not just buying anything, just like you're saying. These cash buyers, they're not purchasing just whatever. They're purchasing under a certain criteria. The average sell price is 290. So that's where they want to be at, because at the average price is the highest out of all the probabilities that it'll move the fastest. It's the average. It's the medium. It's the middle. So right now, I would say investors are locking up properties somewhere between the ranges of 120 to 180,000. That's probably what they're spending on these properties.
And then that's probably trying to hit a retail buyer of like 250 to
250 to 300.
Okay.
Yeah, and it makes sense too because the end consumer, the product being the flipped house, is in terms of affordability. We had a whole event on this last month. In terms of affordability, anything over 300 right now with the rates, it's tough to afford. So
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So what you guys are telling me then is that it's real competitive. Like as an investor, that's going to be a real competitive, because we're an investment show, right? So as an investor, it's real competitive to find properties in that you said 120 to 180?
120 to 180, depending on the condition you're able to acquire the property. If you're able to acquire a property for 230,000, but it needs nothing, maybe take into consideration the sales cost. Like, hey, I'm only going to make 15,000 on it, but it's a zero risk move.
Yeah. Okay. So we have two guys. One guy that's working with sellers all day long, and Felix works with buyers, people that are buying. So Bailey, on our people, let's just say Do you talk with people that are having a hard time? Because you talk to motivated sellers, so I would assume that bell curve that Felix said, there's outliers. I would assume you're talking to a lot of people that have that higher range, price range house. Maybe it's on the market and it's been sitting there. Are they reaching out to you saying, "Hey, would you consider buying this house cash?" Are you seeing a higher price range in that motivation of a seller?
It comes in all shapes and sizes. Like it's a little bit different than on the dispo side because that's what a lot of the buyers are looking for, that cookie cutter 3-bed 2-bath in that price range. But on the acquisition side, we get sellers that call in that put in inquiries from whether it's a mobile manufactured home, a lot, all the way up to $400,000-$500,000 house. It's different than traditional because on the situations that sellers that I talk to, there's no real down period. Like on traditional, we realize that November, December is kind of a slow period. But somebody can inherit a house in November, December. Somebody can be behind payments in November, December. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like in the investment world, it doesn't really slow down because the sellers, if they're motivated to sell, they need to sell. They're going to sell whether it's December, or July, right?
Yep,
That's right.
And same thing with investors. I mean, me and Felix heads that department, but I work with him as well. And if it's a deal, the investor is going to buy it regardless, right?
Well, actually, you just said right now that the seller might sell December or January. I think the probabilities are lower because usually what happens in December is people are stressed out and they don't want to do any crazy movements because they at least want to spend the Christmas and the New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like a motivated seller, if they need to sell, let's just say they got a foreclosure notice and it's January.
Oh.
They need to sell December. I mean,
yeah, they got no choice.
That's not going to... And if it's a good deal, an investor will buy it. Like there's no slowdown right there,
Yep,
right?
Right.
Yeah, so typically we see that slowdown on the retail side the most.
Yep.
And so like we get it, the investors that are working with Felix and I, they're, if it's hitting the market now, it could be a little slower.
Absolutely. People spend money on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. And usually people don't have money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's usually a little tighter. They don't want to make the move. They want to spend, the holidays. They don't want to spend their holidays moving or stressing about that. They typically want to, be settled in. We have a little bit of an anomaly in Yuma. We have winter visitors that buy in the winter because they're here for a short period of time. Tell me about those properties out there in the foothills. What do you guys...
Yeah, this on the acquisition side, this time of the year is usually our busiest time of the year because snowbirds come back into town. They've been saying all year that, hey, I'll connect with you guys when I'm down, and so that we're getting a lot of inquiries there. In the summertime is usually when, if there is a slowdown time on this side of things, it's usually in the summer. But in the wintertime, at least for this particular fall and winter in Yuma, it's very busy on the acquisition side, typically.
Okay. And Felix, like, so for I know what do you tell investors that for like foothill properties, like for seasonal properties for 55 over, what do you tell, like, what do you advise, your buyers, or what are they telling you that they're buying? Will they buy in the summer? Or do they wait to the winter to buy? Like, how does that look?
These cash buyers, they're able to buy in the summer, but usually they also like to wait during the winter to purchase these types of properties. People that are not cash buyers, that have to take a hard money loan or they just got to pay holding costs, they absolutely try not to, because then let's say it takes 3 to 4 months. They buy it in April, then it's May, June, July, August. They're still not here yet.
Yeah, so buying in April, like, doesn't make as much sense, but maybe buying in maybe like
June, July.
Okay.
June, July, because if you buy in June, it takes you 3 months. June, July, August, September. No, July. I would say closer to July because, if you're a hard money buyer, if you have holding costs to pay, you're going to want to set it up so that the property is on the market as soon as possible.
Yeah, you got to time it.
You got to time it, exactly. Cash buyers, they have a little bit more freedom. They're able to buy it, and it's okay sitting there, and because they know eventually it will move on the winter visitor season. But it's got to be a really good deal, though. It's got to be a really good deal because that money's going to sit there. So if it's like a no-brainer, very low risk, and it's a fast movement, they'll do it.
Yeah, so you need to have a patience and B, a plan. because you have to know, okay, this is my market. I don't want to stack days on the market. Maybe hold. Is it crazy to say like maybe the property's finished? Say you bought it in June and you finished it in September. Let's just say that, right? Does it make sense maybe then to not put it on the market? Be like, hey, Anthony, hold off on putting it on the market till October 15th.
I think
so.
so.
Foothills, yeah.
What's your take on that? Like, this is insightful because I think a lot of people don't understand this. They don't get it.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, my property's done. Let's list it.
Yeah, days on market is could be your worst enemy. Because what happens, why it's your worst enemy is because if a house, let's say it's perfect and it sits on the market, let's say in a 55 plus community, because your buyer's not here yet. When your buyers do come in town, they're going to see it's been on the market for 34 days. It's super nice. What's wrong with it? They start to think, what's wrong with it? And now they step in the door thinking that, hey, something's wrong with this. So I'm not sure if I'm interested because something might be up here. Or, hey, it's been on the market for a while. I'm going to offer a low offer here.
Yeah, so they feel like they have the upper hand.
Exactly.
And we've said it before, usually your best and strongest offers come in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So, see, that's some insightful news that I think I just learned from you guys, the experts, is to know know the rhythm, know Yuma, the market. So I would say, like, talking to you guys know the market. Yuma. You guys are moving more properties than anybody else off market, right?
We've been doing this for more than 4 years,
right?
Yeah.
Is that probably the right thing to say?
I would say so. Yeah.
I would say so. It's kind of weird, because we're young, but that just goes to show the experience.
Yeah,
it's the experience. We've been doing this for more than 4 years. Like it's stuff that we have seen and we have seen repeated. And when you see something repeat in a scientific thesis or theory, that's how you know.
Right. Okay. I like it. So, guys, we got some great advice from some experts and professionals in the industry. And really, these guys, although, you guys aren't licensed. Are you guys licensed realtors?
I am not.
No, sir.
Okay. So, non-licensed realtors, but expert investors, professionals in their own profession, in their own industry, giving some really good advice on not only what's going to happen in 2025, but also what's going to happen, what investors, their perspective from both the buyer and the seller on off-market properties. That's something you're not going to see a lot of published information on. You're not going to see a lot of people talking about that. It's typically you see the headlines on the news. You're going to see things from a retail perspective. So it's really great to get that experience and that knowledge from the off-market real estate industry. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Let's do it, baby.
Thanks for joining my podcast.
Yeah, thanks for joining Anthony's podcast, Anthony Shaw.
All right. So, okay, Felix, drop it down.
We're next level home buyers. We don't buy properties. We buy problems.
Yeah!